Welcome to the Dude Comedy Podcast, or better known as the Colby and Burns Show. Usually these shows are a little bit, well, I'll just say it. People think they're terrible, but I think we're going to turn it up to 11 today, because today's show is sponsored by Hims. And the reason we love these guys is that they actually think about the men. Who's not going to think about the men if we don't? So 66% of men lose their hair by the age 35. And when you notice your hair starting to go, it's probably too late. So I say keep your hair that you have is better than replacing the hair that you've lost. So why turn to weird solutions when you can turn to medicine and science? 4hims.com is a one-stop shop for men for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness. Hims connects you to real doctors and medical-grade solutions to help you keep your hair. Answer a few questions, and a doctor will review and prescribe you products that are then shipped right to your door. And who really wants to end up like Kyle? He's not here, but we've all seen how sad it is for him not to have a luscious lead of hair. So don't follow his path. Order now if you order now, Dude Comedy listeners get a trial month of Hims for only $5 while supplies last. See website for full details, because this would cost you hundreds if you went to a doctor or pharmacy. So go to 4hims.com/dudecomedy. That's forhims.com/dudecomedy. 4hims.com/dudecomedy. And we're live.
We're live, and for those listening, we are recording this for the first time on a PC. Well, my PC here. We tested it. I think it's going to work well. But if there's any errors, blame it on Kyle and Jimmy for not being here, because that's our recorder and our backup recorder. So it's not Burns and my fault.
You probably can't see us, but I want Kobe to move his microphone a little bit more in front of him.
Like right here?
Like right there. There you go.
No, you can't even see it. Even better, dude. Nice call.
Yeah. Now I can hear you better. So we don't really know what we're talking about today, so we'll just wing it. But I am moving on Saturday, and I just had a question. For Colby. So it is just overwhelming looking at all this shit I got to move out of here and things I got to get rid of.
Yep.
I was thinking, if you had all the money in the world, like let's say you were a multi-millionaire, and you had all this shit that doesn't really have sentimental value. I'm talking like sheets, clothes, furniture, computer, desk, chair, things like that. If you had all the money in the world and just did not feel like moving this stuff, I'm leaving it all behind. It's not my problem anymore.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And I'm buying all new stuff.
I helped a guy move back in Utah. He had a decent amount of money, and he had like a big sectional that he had built. So like they built it, assembled it downstairs in like his basement, in like his man cave. And the way that the doorway and stuff was set up, like he just said the next person's either taking this couch, and if they don't want it, they're getting rid of it. It was like a $9,000 couch, but he was just like, I'm not dealing with that.
That's what happened when one of my buddies moved into his new house. He has this huge sectional. Parts of it has like the reclining part of it. It's got the whole electrical setup, and it comes in like 5 pieces. And he wanted it in his basement, just kind of like a man cave basement where he can escape to. There's like a pool table down there that the neighbors had already left behind. Like they weren't bringing the pool table up through the stairs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the doorway was so narrow, and it had two handrails on it, because I guess that's a code that you have to have like 2 handrails on the door, on the wall. So we had to like rip them out of the wall.
Dude, and then moving is the worst thing you can do, man.
It took us like 5 guys to we had like 2 guys on top, a guy in the middle like maneuvering it, me on the back like twisting it in, and then when we got it down there, we were just like, man, if you ever move, someone's getting a freak out, because I'm not moving this out of here.
Dude, it's funny that you say that, because that's 2 just sectional stories. You know, people have like a fridge that they got upstairs somehow at some point, and it's just like you're helping somebody move, and you see the fridge, but there's like 10 people around helping move, and you're like, I'm gonna make sure I'm nowhere near inside when it comes to like the fridge. Like I'm gonna do anything in my power to like be outside doing something else before this has to get moved. Because hell no.
So the one idea I had for him is like, it's just like an enclosed basement. There's like maybe 1 window down there, so there's not like a walkout or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, one way you can convince your wife is be like, if we ever have to move and you want to keep this sectional couch, the only way it's coming out is breaking a wall behind us here.
Oh yeah.
So let's just make a walkout.
Yeah, the wall's going, and we might be taking out the couple windows with us.
Right.
Yeah, my buddy moved from. He was staying with his brother, and then he moved to an apartment, and he was luckily on the bottom floor because when you walk in, it's like wall. It's like a really weird setup. Everything fit, but he has a king size mattress. And it's not a Lisa mattress, lisa.com/do comedy. So he couldn't they tried and they could get in one and then flip up and then kick it out and they could get to two, but it's literally impossible to crank it the third way. So they had to get maintenance to remove the window in his apartment. A fire department had to come and supervise it because I guess it's against the fire code. And then he got the mattress in through there and then it didn't fit through his doorway. So it was in his apartment, but then it didn't fit into his bedroom of the thing.
The best couch story I have. So this is when my buddy and his wife were moving from their apartment to a house they bought, and they had this really kind of small, but it was a pull-out couch. So it had a bed.
Oh
in
yeah.
It. I'm not even joking. This thing weighed 300 pounds. It was a 4-man job to get this thing even out of the basement.
Dude, those things are crazy.
And even when we moved him into that apartment, we were like, dude, we do not want this. My buddy was like, I don't want this couch. It's way too fucking heavy. I don't really like sitting on it. It's not that comfortable. And his wife just loves the couch for some reason. And so when it comes to moving out of the house, I think his wife just took a load to the new house or whatever. And she was like, oh, you guys load up that couch. I want to keep it or whatever. And we're just like, no, man, let's just get it out of the house and just put it on the curb.
It's
left it there. Just left it there.
At some point, you got to get rid of the sentimental. You're right, though, dude. There's stuff. So, for example, I don't think I have it anymore, but I had a little plastic Walmart drawer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Just probably $10. And I moved it from place to place to place. And at some point, I was like, why do I keep? It's one of those things where it's it's not heavy and doesn't have anything value in it, but it takes one, it takes a trip, and two, it takes a lot of space for no reason. So why do I keep moving this thing? It's so stupid, and I don't even use it. I think it's in this closet just behind all my crap.
All right. I'm thinking the only things I would want to keep in this whole place if I just was going to replace everything was probably these things behind me. It's the only thing that has sentimental value. Everything else can be replaced.
He said, do that. No, I can do it today. Didn't know. So if they paid for Prime first spot. Sorry, guys. We have a new ad company as well. And we were just making sure we didn't miss it. So we'll do it in 10 minutes. We'll get to it.
Can I get the... Are you just going to wing it? Go here.
Yeah, I'll just wing it. I sent you the thing on Skype.
Oh, did you? I didn't see that. You're texting to me.
But this is actually a perfect segue into what I want to talk about. When is it okay? No, not when. Is it ever okay to profit from murder / death? And now here's where I'm getting at with this.
What are some examples of when you'd be profiting off?
Yeah, here's where I'm getting at with this, right? So the rapper Xxxtentacion, Xxx, people called him X, really popular. I'm starting to realize more now that he's passed away. That
I never even heard of him, but apparently super popular.
Yeah, and I knew he was big. I heard some of his songs, and he was always on the top chart. So when that song, the sad song, came on, is what it was called, I would listen to it, and I knew who he was, but I wasn't going out of my way to download his new music. But a lot of people were. So the guy who runs the Before They Were Famous, his name is Michael McCrudden. He has a YouTube channel, and literally hours after he died, he posted his first video. I don't want to... So since I'm kind of calling this dude out, I don't want to butcher this, so give me a second. Give me a second, people. Michael McCrudden. It was trending. People were just bashing this dude. All right, here we go. So Michael McCrudden made 3 videos in 3 days, all on this, all monetized with 5 to 6 ads on each one. One was even featured on recommended. What a trooper! Such an amazing work ethic. So his first video, the day he died, was Xxxtentacion Before They Were Gone, and it has 5 million views in 2 days. Times that by 6 ads, he made 10 grand off that video. The next day, he did Artists React to His Passing. That's already got 1.1 million views in a day with 5 ads on it. And then today, he posted another one that was After They Were Gone. All right? So he did Before They Were Gone, after they were gone, and artist reactions. Probably made a total of $15,000 to $20,000 in 2 days off of this. My question is that okay because he's doing it as like I don't want to say educational, but it's more of entertainment, but it's also like I get the news does it. I mean CNN makes money for all these big ads by hoping that there's a tragedy. When there's a shooting and they're like, don't give the shooter credit, CNN is just ripping out his image. They're finding anything they can, any dirt they can. So my question is, this guy who, I do agree this is scumbaggy, but is it justifiable? Is it okay that he's, you know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm trying to play the fence as like true as I can without just like hating on the dude because everyone else is. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up, because it's one of those weird situations where part of me kind of feels like it's okay for what he did, but it's also scumbaggy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I put him in the same category as news. I mean, he's making a video that sounds like it'd be educational, interesting. Is he exploiting someone's death for money? I mean, you can make an argument that he is, but so you can make the argument that the news is too.
Yeah, and at what point do we say you can't do that? Because I don't think you can. I don't think you could ever tell him if you look at his channel, he's done it for multiple people. It's not like he just woke up today and was like, I'm going to start a new series. Yeah. So you could also argue that the people that follow him, he has a lot of subscribers. You could say that a lot of his subscribers are like waiting for that stuff.
Yeah, they want it.
They go there for the info. I mean, you could say the same thing for Drama Alert, right?
Yeah.
Drama Alert will put an ad on a domestic violence video. He'll put ads on that.
Yeah.
But he can't go be a hypocrite and then get mad at somebody for doing it, because that's his outlet. You know, people's follow for that drama. Yeah. So if they get served an ad on a video that you might deem questionable for an ad, I'm still kind of on the... Yeah.
I think that's just incentive. Like, people are going to want, when someone noteworthy passes away, either natural causes or tragically, people are going to want info like that. And I think it's more, I think you can get a higher quality video, higher quality information from someone who has an incentive to make it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's not getting a dime off of that. Does that say, is he going to make that content? I don't know him, so maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
It's tough. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like a tough line, because the part of you that thinks he's, you know, it is scumbaggy to like. Yeah. There was times where Kyle and I would have an article where it would be like, I mean, we ran a comedy site that turned more into just like a viral site, whatever, you know? Yeah. And there'd be times where we'd be building something and like, man, this is like sad and, you know, whatever, it's not really our thing. But then it's like, when you post it, you see how crazy it does and how many people are going to it. And you kind of get that feeling like, man, I just profited. Like, I want to say there was one that we really didn't like posting, but we kind of had to because it was on the top of Reddit. It was when the news lady gets shot live on camera by like her coworker. Like, we didn't show the shooting part. We showed like the 80% before, then like the 2 minutes after. Yeah. And then you talk about it, and I just like sourced CNN and posted it, and it blew up on the site. And it's just, part of you is like, I feel really bad. But then the other part of you is like, obviously people wanted to get the info. Yeah. That's why it's blowing up. Like, it's a weird, dude.
I'd say like an unethical way of like profiting off like death or murder or things like that would be, and I know some of it is illegal, but I know there's like a gray line of like arms dealers. Like, have you ever seen War Dogs or Lord of War?
Oh yeah.
But they just profit off of pretty much people killing each other in war. Like Lord of War, he just sells to anyone who will buy, and then in War Dogs, they're taking U.S. government contracts. And
that's the Jonah Hill one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good movie.
That's a crazy one where they just like there was actually, like, if you haven't seen it, basically it's based on a true story. Basically, during the Iraq War, like, there was a thing where like they didn't want all of these defense contractors to get all of the defense contracts, so they would make it more of an even playing field. So you could go on a website and just find these tiny little things like this. We need to supply Desert Eagles to a certain section of the U.S. military, and these people would just sell them. They would just sell the weapons to the U.S. military, and then they got like one of the bigger, like, who are they? They were arming like the Afghans maybe or something.
It
They
was
were arming
something.
like
It was something huge, and then they their supplier like backed out or something. They
yeah.
couldn't get the bullets or something. So then that's when they
Yeah,
started
the
getting
crazy one was like they got it from like Albania, who like had like a bunch of like Cold War AKs and like a bunch of bullets left over, so they bought it from them. And then they find out that the bullets were like Chinese made, and U.S. had like an embargo on like Chinese weapons.
Yeah. It was a good movie, and I like stuff like that you kind of never have heard of, and then you watch it and you're like, this is based off a true story. Like people were doing this, and they were. Oh, by the way, the thing we didn't mention is they were getting like filthy rich,
Oh, filthy!
like
Right? This is like a
multi-millionaires.
$100 million contract,
Yeah, oh yeah, and they
and
were
they
not spending $100 million on the bullets. Dude, that movie was crazy. But yeah, no, so profiting off of it like that, that's different. But yeah, I think we're both kind of down the same line of yeah, it could be considered scumbaggy. And here's the other thing that sucks though is people like this McCrudden dude is gonna get crap for 4 days, whatever. He's gonna do it again. People are gonna forget about this one. He's gonna do it again. I mean, $20,000. Can you imagine like telling your girlfriend, like, dude or girl, I just made 20 grand in 2 days off this? Like, you just probably just celebrating that right now somewhere.
It was crazy that people profiting out of death. Like, what about hitmen?
Oh
Like
yeah,
on the dark web that like are like paid assassins.
what a life, dude. How do you just? I always wonder that. I always also wonder like. Just to go back to death, and it was a really dark episode right now. Like, so the rapper who died, right? What gets like? Okay, how do I say this in a non-sensitive way? What comes over somebody to actually pull a trigger pointed at somebody? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think. I personally don't think unless. Okay, so this was also like a situation where it wasn't like your wife is getting like you have the gun. Your wife's getting held, and you have to shoot the dude. This is like the guy's unarmed, so.
Ooh, little sneaky.
I'm recording. Yeah, scared me. So it's like when you go up to somebody and do that.
Yeah.
It's like who? How does that come over you to be like? This is the time.
I'll say what I've had, like, I would never do it, but when I've had thoughts is like when you're driving on the road and a biker is like right in the shoulder. or like biking with traffic. I've always thought about like, what if I just like clip his back wheel?
Yeah, just give him a little tick. No, yeah, my question is just always not.
You have to be like a sociopath. Like you don't feel like remorse. You don't have like any like feelings.
And then imagine what you're feeling afterwards. Like, you know, when you make a dumb mistake.
Some people like get off on it though. There's like sociopaths that like it's like an arousal.
Well, then it starts. That's what like now your brain is like triggered to become. I mean, like not Charles Manson. Bundy. Like once Bundy did it once, he was like, I got to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's like a weird. I don't know why it happens, but there's like people like will kill for the first time and then like it like got them off, and they're like, oh, I got to do it again now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like sex with normal people. Like you have sex for the first time, you're like, oh, that's the greatest thing I've ever done. I got to do it again.
Yeah, oh yeah. Or like even just on a smaller scale, like winning a game of Fortnite, you're like, I got to go do it again, and then you're just chasing wins.
And then these people are just chasing kills.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a dark thing to think about, but like, I don't think unless it was a dire situation, like in cold blood, I could ever be to the point where I would just be like, even if I hated somebody.
Right.
Well, I mean that's different though, because if it was like a terrorist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking about that when I was watching an interview of I want to say it was just the dude in court, not an interview, but he just had him, and it's just like what goes through this dude's head and you know there's people out there like in these gangs and stuff like the scary MS-13 ones who have 20 to 30 bodies racked up at this point, and they're just out there on the street.
They're like crazy that like past dictators who ordered death on people.
Oh yeah, it's just crazy.
Like there was one I saw like it was like watch people die on Reddit or whatever. Not like the sarcastic one, but like the real one. And there was one like on the main page of like he was like a leader of Croatia back during like the Croatia Serbia like whole Yugoslavia like war or whatever, and he just got this was like not this was pretty recent, like within the last year. There's a video of him in court being told he's guilty of crimes against humanity. And like, I don't know if they were going to put him to death or prison or whatever, but there's like, after they give him the guilty sentence, or like the sentence of, you're guilty, he like says something out in Croatian, which was apparently, it was translated like, I don't agree with the court's decision, and he pops like a suicide pill in his mouth.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And then he, there's like a picture of him, and he's like, yeah, dude, that's by the way, a dark Reddit page you're talking about there.
Yeah, it is.
Way to just throw it out there nonchalant too, just like. So I've watched people die. Kyle's brother Aaron, he used to go to one that it wasn't like watch people die, but it was like cringy, like bone breaks and.
Oh, I can't. That's one thing I cannot watch. I can't watch people break bones.
Oh, I'm already thinking about it. Speaking of that, dude, hopefully we're on ridiculousness soon. We're gonna take this podcast to the next level.
Right. I mean, there was like I think I was in middle school, and like our his social studies teacher, he was like I think he was like the defensive coordinator for the high school team on football. And he was like talking about the bad injuries that he's seen. There was like one it was like a fumble, and it was like a big pile up for the fumble. The guys were just laying down, and like the pile shifted to the left over this guy's leg, and his shin bone just went.
Oh,
dude, no.
And people like watching that stuff.
I don't like watching that. I cannot watch bones break. Like I can handle like blood and like a hard hit, but like if you're breaking a bone, no thank you.
Yeah, well, you're a hockey guy, man. Hockey tough.
I like seeing when someone's teeth get ripped out. Oh, fuck that.
I mean, there's times I want to say there was a UFC one where the dude kicked him and snapped his leg, and I was watching it live, and everyone was like,
I've seen that one.
He's like, "Oh, watch the replay." I'm like, "Why?"
They had like that Louisville player who broke his leg.
Yeah, and they kept showing it, and then Paul George
kept showing it over and over again. I was like, dude, stop showing this shit.
Yeah, and then Paul George's, I remember seeing that and just being like, done. And everyone's like, I want to see a replay. I'm like, why? Why?
Don't need it. Don't need to see it.
I seen it once. Okay, what is happening? The thing just.
I remember like when Jamal Charles like tore his ACL. That was a gruesome replay too.
Yeah, then Willis McGahee in the Orange Bowl national championship, national TV versus Ohio State, going down the sideline. I remember he Sean Livingston his whole leg.
I saw like when I played like middle school basketball or whatever, and this player I was on the bench at the time, and our player like reached out for the ball. It was like going out of bounds and like hit his thumb, and he like grabbed it and like turned around and like showed it to the coach. And it was like bent over here, and I was like, no. And the coach literally just grabbed it and popped it back in.
It probably felt like, oh, dude. Man, some of that is just nasty.
Dude, my brother dislocated his kneecap twice in baseball.
What did this guy just say?
What do we got?
He just said, yeah, whenever. I was just double checking. Sorry for the unprofessionalism. Once again, I would blame that one on Jimmy.
I guess we'll pop this ad off. I got it in front of me so I can read it off. This is a little Colby hit me with this morning. So today's show is also sponsored by BeForthright.com. So are you tired of crappy products and services? Here's a way to tell companies what you think and get cash in the process. Unlike most paid survey sites that require you to reach a certain dollar amount to redeem your money, Forthright pays you instantly for a completed survey. So go to beforthright.com/dude and sign up for a free account. It takes only seconds. And for listeners of this show, Forthright is running a special offer. Fully qualify and complete at least one survey by July 7th and earn a bonus of $5 to your Forthright bank. Make sure to verify your account with a phone number so your rewards can be instantly delivered. For every qualified and completed survey, you will instantly get paid, and you can select your payment method between your bank, PayPal, Bitcoin wallet, Amazon card, and more. Forthright also offers loyalty points. For every 3 Forthright surveys you complete, you get a bonus reward. Forthright is unfortunately only open to citizens of the United States for now, so make sure you sign up through beforthright.com/dude to be entered to earn a bonus of $5 upon completion of at least one survey by July 7th. That's beforthright.com/dude. There will be a link in the description for you.
Boom. Dude, that was pretty good for me sending that to Burns right
when we got on. He's like, we got a second ad.
So thank you, Be Forthright, for sponsoring today's show.
Boom.
Be Forthright. That's a great name.
24th, right? All right. So you watched the World Cup at all? I was checking the scores today.
I watch like I'll watch not like live games, but I'll turn on some of like I like to watch the celebrations like with goals, like when that happens, like basically like a compilation. My problem with like soccer is this is how much better hockey is than soccer. I turned on 4 or 5 playoff games for hockey, and you can just have it on, send a couple texts, look up, and there's just like consistent action. Like I don't really even know. I still don't really know like how it's played. Well, I mean, obviously you try to score a goal, but it's like that's easy to watch, and it's like it's exciting. I turned on a World Cup game, and it's so slow for me.
It's a much better sport to see live, and I guess it's just about like understanding the game.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I'm sure a lot of the stuff that they're doing, like clearing the ball out and then like moving it from corner to the other side, like I'm sure that people are like, "Wow, what a good play."
It's more like a chess match live because there's different formations. You know, you get 10 players and a goalie, so 11 players on the field. And there's different formations. You can play 5 defenders, 3 defenders, few midfielders, 1 to 3 strikers, and
yeah. See, that alone right there is I don't even know enough for that, so it's really hard for me to get behind. Like, but I'll turn it on any of those. Like, so House of Highlights is a pretty good Instagram page, and they'll do like they'll show the Mexico goal, and then they'll show all the bars. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna link you. I'll give you the context of the video, and I'll show you like how you want me to send it to Skype or
do Skype.
All right, so like this is just shows you like it's all about like the build up and the anticipation for the end of the game. So basically what's happening in this clip. So this is a game to go to the playoff final to be promoted to the top league.
Oh, I seen. Oh, yeah. The one that with the LeBron's team.
LeBron's team.
LeBron owns one of these teams, right?
Oh, no, this was like a few years ago.
Oh, you know the one that just got up to the Premier League? He owned part of the team that lost.
Oh, did
he? Yeah.
Okay, so this is basically the game is basically in extra time. So the game's already over. No, they add. I don't know if you know at the end of soccer, like there's no stoppages throughout the whole game. So if there's injuries or long stoppages, the referee it's at his discretion of how much. Like once the 90 minutes is over, he can be like, all right, there's an injury here, here, and here. This half, we're gonna add on 5 more minutes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is a clip. I'll send it to you on Skype where the team in yellow has to score to advance. And the team in blue is winning right now, and it starts with them taking a penalty shot. So if they score this penalty shot, it's over. I'll send it to your personal Skype. It's basically the game would be over and they'd be eliminated. Where are you on here, Kobe? There you are. So there's that for you.
Okay, I got it. Pulling it up. So this is the live, right? I mean, like, not a shootout. It's just...
No, it's a penalty kick, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, jeez. See, this already seems like so much more action than the game I was watching. Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's fucking crazy.
Is that how it ends with that goal?
Yeah, the fans start rushing onto the field.
Dude, the coach got tackled. That's crazy. See, like right there, again, it's tough for me just turning on a random game with two countries that don't really have any stock into, and then just being like, all right, I'm gonna watch them kick it back and forth for a while.
They'd probably be more into it like when the U.S. is in it. Like the U.S. didn't make it this time, so it's like
that's just bananas that they didn't make it. How are you the biggest sports country, and you can't put together enough soccer players?
Well, the thing is, like the U.S., like you think, like so the U.S., most of our athletes will play football, basketball,
baseball,
and soccer just kind of gets to the wayside. I mean, we have like a a young player who plays like in the top league in Germany on like a top team, but it's like all like kids. Like I played soccer when I was like a kid, and usually once you get through that youth, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go play basketball now. And you would think like it's so cheap to play soccer
Yeah,
that a lot
but
more people would play.
you'd also think with how big the population is now in the U.S. that at some point you'd start getting guys who are like, I'm not good enough to do basketball. I'm gonna try and be a pro soccer player.
I mean, can you imagine if like soccer was the top sport in the U.S.? LeBron James would be a fucking freak on the field.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that's the argument that when people you can always say is it is the top sport almost everywhere else.
I mean, if you think about it, if like U.S. put like if there was no other sport here, we have so many people from so many different backgrounds in all these different countries that live here that we'd be able to put together like an unstoppable team.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like what people will say. Like, who is it? The one that's really good at rugby. Wow, they wear black jerseys. I can't even think. They're super famous.
Like New Zealand, or?
Yeah, New Zealand, right? So the nation's sport is rugby there, and they would crush everybody. But it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, but if the U.S. had the number one sport, like that kids grew up and was rugby, and you look at it and it'd be like Adrian Peterson was a professional rugby player, or I mean, it's tough not to just say running backs, but like,
I mean, and then like the U.S. has this whole thing where like you got to be a big dude, you got to be super big, super tall, super athletic to be even considered for a top player. But Lionel Messi's like 5'6".
Oh yeah,
he's
dude.
the best player in the world.
Yeah, which is it just shows you like speed and quickness in soccer is so much more than like for football, bigger, stronger, faster. Basketball, dude, there's guys now in the NBA getting drafted who are like 6'4", and I listened to the guy and he's like, he's a little short. It's like, oh my gosh. And we're to the point now where 6'4" is short. Right. Another thing too.
I remember like back in the NBA, like the point guards would be like between like 5'8" and like 6'1". Now it's like you got like a 6'6" point guard.
Dude, 6'6" is like the average now. I mean, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I want to say like Lillard, who used to be considered short, I don't even think he's short. Like they literally said 6'4", so he's a shorter point guard, and I was like,
yeah. And now like in the NHL too, like goalies used to be like 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot. But if you see a goalie that's less than 6'4", there's no way you're drafting him.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Well, and you could say that for other positions in basketball too. Like some centers, like he's a 6'10" center, but he can't move well. So why would I draft him? Like you're not putting a Shaq down on the block nowadays. Yeah. You need the DeAndre Jordan running.
And even like centers now, you got to be bulky now. Like Karl Anthony Towns is probably arguably one of the better centers in the league, but if he's got to have a physical matchup, he's awful.
Oh yeah, that's his problem, and that's why like. You know, he's probably still at this point, potential-wise, a top 15 player in the NBA. But he also looks so bad in certain matchups just because of his size and the way.
Right, there'll be like a game where he like drops like earlier this year he dropped like 56 points, and then the next night he's got to play against Dwight Howard, and he just gets out muscled.
Well, and it's not even just Dwight too. There's just like other guys who just bully him. But I mean, you can say that about a lot of these new like kind of swing centers. This athletics is just getting weird, man. Like I drove by just the school by my house on Saturday. I think I drove by the first half at like 8:30. There's 4 t-ball games and stuff going on. I think I drove back by at 3:30 and there was like coach pitch playing. So I was talking to my wife and I'm like, so from 8 o'clock till 4:30ish, assuming that was the last game, there's people playing all these sports and they were all small kids. And I started thinking, and we were talking about it, and I was like, I hope I'm not setting myself up to be like, to go do this as a parent. But I'm like, you know how many of these kids don't want to be there?
Right.
You know how, like, that's, like, what if, I know that, like, personally, I have a friend who's only puts their kid in sports and stuff to take Instagram pictures. But the kid's like, I think it's soccer, and the kid's like, I mean, it's fun.
We should let kids do what they want. Like as a parent, you should be able to tell by like when do they start playing baseball? Like Coach Fish is what, like maybe 10?
Dude, these kids are in. So they're in.
So Coach Fish is like 10 because I know what World Series.
Yeah. Second or third grade.
Yeah. So I think Well, I feel like then you should be able to tell if your child is athletic or interested in sports. Like, you obviously expose them to them, and you'll be able to tell if they like it or not. But some kid might just be art. Some kid might be into theater. Like, you should be able to tell if your kid's gay by then and doesn't want to play sports. I'm not saying like a gay person can't be an athlete, but like you should be able to say,
Oh
like,
yeah,
my kid doesn't want to be here. Why am I wasting my money?
yeah. Well, that's the thing is like I had kids on my brother's team when I was like kind of co-coaching in a way, like volunteering out of high school or in high school. And there's kids who like their parents were the parents who would drop them off. And then the kid didn't want to be there. And then they're the ones that like their parents didn't stay and watch practice and stuff like that, And that's when I think the thing started going in my head where I was like, man, so this kid doesn't even want to be here, but his mom probably just wants an hour. So she's making him play. I think we were playing basketball. He even told me one time, he's like, don't put me in. I don't want to play. I'm like, okay. And then like, what is your mom going to say? She's like, she's not coming. I'm like, okay. So I didn't play him because he was terrible.
Dude, speaking of like of gay people, my girlfriend got me into the Queer Eye show last week.
Oh, though they always advertise it on Netflix. By the way, Netflix, if you're listening Netflix, you are in people's brains too well now with how you like manipulate the watch now shows. I'll just turn on something because I'm like, well, it's new. Looks good. That's probably how you got into it.
I couldn't even why she was like, oh, you gotta watch this. I mean, I think you'd like it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really like design shows and like all that shit. And then I watched the first 2 episodes. I'm like, I want this dude to design my house. I want him to do my living room.
So you're saying I should go watch it after this?
You should. It's great. Like, you see these people that are just like, you just tell they're just having a dog shit life. They have a terrible haircut. They just are messy as hell. And they're like a brand new person.
Dude, I think one of my favorite genres of shows are like fixer-upper type shows. Whether it's like, I used to love Restaurant Impossible, even though it was so fake. But I used to love that show with a passion. Like, I would watch it and just hope that he made somebody cry and like tear the whole place down and stuff. And
they like did this one like guy who's like super redneck, super like into NASCAR or whatever, and like his wife basically owned the whole like floor of the house. Like there was nothing there that resembled that a guy lived there, and then like his basement was just like a disaster area. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna get you. I'm not even gonna redo your basement. We're gonna put some of your personality in the upstairs. And like they hung like his deer on the wall, deer head on the wall, and like just like they redid the whole house. I was like, holy shit. That's
crazy.
I want this done to my house.
I love when I'll see like some of the house shows and like look behind me, dude. Like that's my recycle. There's some garbage from cleaning up. I got the fan and the light out of place. But this is like if someone saw this and they knew that I was trying to like 1 stream and 2 doing a show that goes out to millions of people, because we don't know how many people it goes out to. And this is like my chosen background. It's like, why? Like I could very easily like turn it here, put something nice on this TV and like have that as the background, or use this like nice painting as the background or anything else. But it's like, that's just how we are. Like you're probably the same way. You're just like, I don't care.
All right. I'm just like,
oh yeah. Check out that shirt.
I know. I was going to mention that earlier. That's sick.
I got one for you. I can send it to you. I made it. I make these.
Oh, did you?
But this is a test shirt, so this is the pocket. So I wanted to mess around with like.
You should put the colors of the llama on there.
Yeah, so this is like my wife got a machine called the Cricut. You've probably heard of it. It's like a craft machine. But then the first thing I started thinking about was how could I use it? It's pretty cool. So then I got like the stencils and stuff and started cutting them out.
Yeah.
So I put one on the pocket. Kyle has that one. This one was like him coming out of the pocket. Then I tried a llama one. And then I have like a sweatshirt where I put it on like the sweatshirt sleeve. That one looks sick. But I can do any character you want. You just got to tell me. I'll have these for sale soon. I got to figure out though, like, because if it takes me a long time to do it, I don't want to be like $7 and then be like, shit. I sold 100 of them. Shit.
Right.
But yeah, the one I gave Kyle was this one. I got the L Dance one.
Yeah.
Then I made Ken Baker, who was on the show. Hey, Ken was actually on last week. It was a really good show. I made Ken a polo with it on it for work.
Ken was in Mini App. Was he with Mike? Who were they? Who was he with?
No, he's still there. He's at work.
Uh,
Today he was at White Castle.
at White Castle. Fine Minnesota cuisine, right?
He's there till tomorrow. But yeah, he went to something Pete's and then Cowboy Jack's or something. Sneaky Pete's and Cowboy Jack's. It's funny because the week before he was in Utah and that's where I used to live, and he was like, dude, what the heck? I have to have like a water between every 2 beers? And I was like, yeah, dude, they're very strict about that because that's like a zero tolerance state, you know? Yeah. And if you get a DUI, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure if you get a DUI and it's over a certain point, they'll like fine the place that served you.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure. I want it's something like that where they can get shut down if something happens and that you get like a DUI, because like you'll let's say you're at Applebee's and you and your girlfriend sit down and she's like, I'll have a white wine, you're like, I'll get a beer. Then she pulls out like a card and she has to read like, which one of you is the driver? And you'd be like, oh, I am. So then she goes to you and she's like, da 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 da, and you have to say, yeah, are you planning on eating with this beer? Yes. Da 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 da. Yes. Have you had anything before this beer? And you have to be like, no, no, no. Then she goes to you and or to your girlfriend and she asks her one more question, and then she can serve you. But if you admitted that you're the driver, they won't give you more than 2 beers or whatever you're having, and then even if you're not the driver, you have to like they'll bring you water like every 3 drinks or something.
Wow, I remember like we always thought like Applebee's is a garbage restaurant, right? It's fucking terrible, but we would always go there like when we were younger for like half-price appetizers. And one time we were like, man, what would it be like if we just said we got shit-faced at Applebee's, like just fucking hammered? Yeah. And after like the 3rd Long Island, they just brought us our bill.
Oh, they just cut you out?
They just brought us our bill and just walked away.
Dude, that's actually pretty funny. You're right though, like I'll defend a lot of like bad food, and Applebee's I used to be able to defend, and then I went and had it one time, and I had like what used to be my favorite was like just the cheap nachos, and they screwed them up somehow. Now they're salsa verde like fancy nachos, but they're not fancy at the same time.
And I remember, did you ever go there when they had like the massive plate of nachos? You could share it with like 4 people.
That's what I would get.
And now it's just like a tiny little plate.
But here's the thing: it's a tiny little plate, and they use like nicer queso cheese. But here's the thing with nachos, man. I'm a nacho snob. And when it comes down to like when I'm eating it with a fork because my chips are like soggy and melting, I'm out, right? Dude. You lost me as a customer for life if that happens.
I mean, if I remember it, like Applebee's would have like all the meat kind of like scattered throughout, but like a lot of the sour cream and like pico de gallo was like on top, so you could kind of like scoop it and like and the cheese was like melt, and like the cheese, it wasn't like queso, it was like melted cheese on the chips, right?
Something now it's like they took a scoop of queso cheese with meat in it. They're just like, here you go.
That's terrible.
I always say, if you are a restaurant and you can't make nachos, then something's wrong.
I just like started eating at better restaurants and then realizing, God, Applebee's is fucking garbage.
Yeah, well, I used to always be able to defend it because I'd be like, dude, $10 for some wings and nachos, like it's not a bad deal. Get a Bud Light, $3, you're fine. But then I had the nachos recently, and I'm like, I'm no longer defending you guys.
Dude, we were driving back from the lake yesterday, and we were like, right before we entered on like the freeway or whatever, there's this VFW on the side of the road, and it had like a big banner. It was like $1 Bud Lights on Monday. I was like, oh my God, you can get fucking like all day $1 Bud Lights. I was like, dude, you go to VFW and you just get trashed.
Dude, that's crazy. How did they make money on that? I guess you buy something else.
I mean, beer is already hard to turn a profit on anyways because they buy it pretty much what they sell it for.
It's such a competitive market now too. Like,
it doesn't have like I used to work at a liquor store and they wouldn't make shit on beer. Like it was zero margin on it at all. It was all liquor and wine that you make your money on.
Unless you're at a sporting event, that's the only place where they make money on beer because it's like $9.
Yeah.
And you know that
so our place would always do like a sale on beer, knowing that like, oh, you save a few bucks, they'll buy a bottle of liquor to go with it. So.
Dude, I think it'd be fun to work at a liquor store. It'd be a lot of good stories.
Yeah, I mean, we got like robbed a couple of times. Not like gunpoint to give us the money out of the register, but people like trying to put like when I first started working there, it was like a huge problem because there was like
Is it liquor lotto? Sorry. Like you buy lotto
liquor.
tickets there too?
No,
Okay.
we was connected to a gas station, so you go to the gas station side
Okay.
and get lotto tickets. But like we sold like cigarettes and stuff like that though, and like there was cameras in there, but the only like computer you could pull it up on was in the back room. And like people would go down the first aisle where you can't see them, and they would just put like bottles of liquor like in their coat, and then like either just walk out or like buy something small. And like there's like nothing you can do about it. Like they didn't really like loss prevention didn't really like give us any direction on like what to do. And so we're like, there's nothing we can do, and it's happening all the time. Like, what do you want us to do? And like we were like, dude, if you want to like fix this, you need to put like a monitor like up front with me and a camera at the door so I can see down the first aisle.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
like
Easy
and then after
fix.
that, and then after that, like we had like the gas station behind us, which was part of the same store, like it was the same company. And like if we saw someone do it, I would just like ring the person that's working at the gas station, like, hey man, you call the cops for me.
Yeah. Hey,
And then
this
you would
guy's
just like
stealing.
try to, and then you would just like talk those people up until the cops get there, and
Busted.
then
Funny beer stealing story that I just remembered when you said that is at one of the stores. They can't chase you down either at one of these grocery stores. And my buddy, this was like my buddy's cousin was 16 at the time, and they rolled up to the like Safeway. I'll just say it Safeway. I don't remember what it was, but I think it was like a smaller tier like grocery store.
yeah,
And he went and he grabbed 230 packs and put them under his shoulders, and just walked around like he owned the place. And then went up like he was gonna go this direction by like the fruit, and then just walked right out. And they were like, "Hey, hey, hey!" And they couldn't do anything. And then he went and got into the white van, and then they just pulled off. And they had 60 beers that day. What he didn't realize is, yes, the store can't like chase you down, but the store has that footage of you in your car, and they turned that over to the police, and then the police.
yeah.
I don't know if it was that night or like the next day, like showed up and were just like, "Hey, what were you doing yesterday?" And he was like, "What?" Like we
Dude,
literally
like,
have you on camera.
here's like a good like story that like it's like a whole like the problem that was at that liquor store, like getting like bottles stole off of us. Tell me if this sounds like racial profiling to you. So like in this college town that I worked in, the city has like a big population of like Somali immigrants or like refugees that were like placed there like when Somalia had the war. And like there's not I don't have like a problem with them at all. They're fine people, but like the young kids that they have that were like 16, 17, 18, 19 would like come into the store. And you could tell they were young right away just by their body language. Like what they would do is they would come into the store in like a group of four, three or four, and they would all like walk around in different aisles and they'd be talking to each other on their cell phones. So every time they came in, I'd be like, fuck, gotta call the cops. And like I always felt like, God, am I racial profiling these people? But even though I knew what they were doing.
So they would just try and like distract you enough, and then one of them would take something.
Well, they would like split up in the store in groups of like 3, 4, or 5, and they would be on their phones and they'd be talking to each other.
Oh yeah.
And like we would have to have like one person like pretend they were like facing the shelves as you kind of keep an eye on them or whatever until they would just leave and realize they couldn't do it, and then like we'd just call the cops. Right away. I always felt like, God, it's like feels like racial profiling because every time they walk in the door, I'd be like, God damn it.
Well, it didn't help that sounds like a terrible plan to like fit in and steal something. Like,
Right.
oh, hey, what's up, bud? Nothing's up with you, bud. Nothing. Just about to rob a liquor store.
And I remember like one time it was like super fucking late, or it was like super fucking busy around like 9:45 when we closed at 10, and it was like a really busy holiday weekend or something like that, and like there was like 10 people in my line, like 8, 10 people in the person I was working with line, and then we had someone else who was like stocking shelves or like grabbing something from the back to like restock at the end of the night because we were almost closing. And like I was like ringing someone up, and I just happened to glance at the monitor in front of me, and I saw some guy like put a bottle down his jacket and like walked out, and I saw that I could like stop it or whatever. And then like later like someone like person was working the shelves like, hey, did you see that? The guy like walked out here, and I was like, yeah, I fucking saw it. Now I gotta file a police report.
Yeah. Dude, you should have just been like, no, I didn't see it.
And like the best one was like one of those groups of people that come in like talk on their phone or whatever. We had called the cops or whatever, but they were like trying to leave the store. My buddy, like right when they walked in, he just stood by the door, just stood there.
Yeah.
And when they came out, like, hey man, I know you got something in your jacket. And the guy was like, oh, those CDs. And it's like, dude, CDs. And the kid like tried to like drop the bottle like down his jacket and set it on the floor. And then he like took a swing at my coworker and like broke his glasses.
Dang.
Like, they all just like took off out the door before the cops could get there. Cops come in and be like, "Oh yeah, we know that." Cops came in and like, were like, "Oh yeah, we write up the police report." And then like 2 days later, like the next week, they came back in with my buddy got to do a photo lineup.
Oh no way!
In the back, and they had like photos of all these different people that have been like caught, like have a record for theft. And he's like, "Yep, that's it right there." And they went and arrested him.
Dude, you know what's hilarious is that's kind of like the McLovin, like McLovin was just there, gets punched in the face. Right. Oh, dude, that's classic. I always here's if for Minnesota is at like 10 o'clock or what's the time? Is there like a time where you cannot sell hard alcohol?
10 p.m. Yep. So if people are in the store by 10, you can sell to them, but at 10 you cannot let anyone else in. It's a state law. So like people like try to get in, be like, he's like, I just gotta grab some beer real quick. I was like, dude, I can. It's like seriously against the law.
Yeah.
Like the store would get shut down.
The reason why I asked that is I didn't know if it was just where I was, but they in Ellensburg where I went to school, it's the same thing. It might have been 9 or 10, whatever it was. And I was in the store already, like in line, like already cut it too close, and they locked the doors. And they say the doors are like locked on, like in a system. They can't open them. They can only go out. And then he's yelling at them. He's like, "Well, I'll just wait for somebody to come out and I'll come in." And she's like, well, "I can't ring it up. Like, the registers will lock." And I know that she's just going through like the excuses in the book to like get this guy away. And he's just like, "Well, I'll just add on the back of this guy's order." And I'm like, "Uh-oh, how is she gonna like, get out of this?" Like that's a perfect excuse. And then she's like, "No, because he's already on like the cameras and they're all on timers, so I can't like they'll see that you come in and do it." And then he starts like freaking out. He's like, "I gotta get this da 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 da." And I'm like next in line. And I'm like, I hope he keeps blowing up. Like, but I'm trying to get out of here first. So then. He got so loud and stuff that she made it seem like she was going to do it, but she also said, like, the cops will come if you don't leave. And then he's like, "Nope, I'm waiting. I'm going to get on this last guy's thing." And she's like, "The cops are going to show up. Like, they have a feed of this footage." And then the cops showed up, and then he was just like, "Whoa, you called the cops?" And she's like, "I told you." Like, they would be. And, like, the police station was literally, like, next door, Yeah. It was, and then I remember, like, still sitting there, like, this is kind of cool, but I'm trying to get out of here. Like, people like are waiting for me in here. I have way too much liquor. They're probably gonna ask me where I'm going.
Yeah, there was like one of like I know we're running out of time on the show, but like one story I had. So it's also a state law in Minnesota where if you come in as a group to the liquor store, every single person has to present an identification card.
Yeah.
They're 21 years old, and there was like these two people that came up and they were just buying like a bottle of vodka or something. And one of them didn't have the ID. And it's like, "Oh man, we both need IDs. I can't sell this bottle to you guys." And they're like making a big fuss about it. Like, "What do you mean? Like, if I would have stayed in the car," I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of how it fucking works."
Yeah,
and
that's like exactly how it works.
He even like, I was like, "I need your ID." So he's like, "Okay, I'll give you my ID." Hands me his ID. Not 21. I was like, "You're not 21." And I was like, "Can't sell it to you or whatever." And the guy behind them was like, "Oh, that's kind of a stupid rule or whatever." And like, I checked him out. And then like, seriously, 5 minutes later, the dude that I had checked out after them walks back into the store,
buys the vodka,
grabs the bottle that they were going to buy, brings it up to me. I was like, "Dude, I cannot sell this to you."
Yeah.
What are you doing? You think I'm retarded? Oh.
Because if you sell that to him, you can get in trouble for it. And it's nothing like you might think it's a stupid rule, but you're not going to lose your job over it. I always feel bad for
the only time I ever like gave
that.
like leeway in the job or whatever is like you always had to ask for ID, like if they appear like 30 years old or younger or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you get so many regular customers in there, you're supposed to check their ID over and over again. I was like, dude, I know you.
You're 30.
Yeah. Or like he comes in here like twice a week. Like, I know who this person is.
Dude, there's so many like secret shopper programs and stuff nowadays too. Just hope like. We always talk about it.
I only caught like one fake ID though, he like came in or whatever, and like it was like a South Dakota ID, which is not out of the ordinary in a college town, like in a state right next door.
Yeah.
And but the like we have a book of IDs, and when you see like the real ones over and over again, you can kind of spot the fakes. And the South Dakota ones are like really, really firm, like you can't bend them at all. And this dude had like a laminated one that like bent back and forth. And I took one look at it. I was like, dude, this is not real. He just walked out the door.
Oh, he didn't ask for it back. They'd probably cost him like $150.
Yeah, like my buddy works as a bouncer at a bar. He's got like a stack of fake IDs. I was like, dude, you need to start selling them back to him for like $200.
Dude, yeah, you could probably sell them online.
Like when you take it when you take it from him at the door, be like, I can't let you in, but I can sell you this back to you for $100.
Dude, that would be such a sick business. You'd make so much money. I don't have $100. Well, come back next week when you do, or you're never getting in here.
Yeah, he's got one that's like someone will like come up and the girl will be like 5'1" and the ID says like 6'2". Like, no.
I remember my buddy. I don't remember where I was going. I wasn't going out though for some reason. He's like, "Hey, let my friend use your ID." I'm like, "No," and then he's like, "Dude, yeah, just let him use it." And then his friend like walks up, glasses, long hair, like kind of blonde. Maybe, yeah, like you were saying, maybe 5'8", 5'9", and my ID says 6 foot. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Oh, almost done. Oh, wow, Wendy's. It's a party. So, yeah, it's always funny when they do that.
What a guy. My buddy is like at the bar, like he's the most like sarcastic. He wants confrontation or whatever. So like, you ever like remember like in sitcoms when they had like laugh tracks and you get like the ooh.
Yeah.
Like, I try like whenever like he's at the door like in response for just taking IDs. Like if someone's like getting escorted out by another bouncer, he just like ooh.
Oh, they're gonna get you. Dude, those people. It's just funny, man. People will just make dumb decisions all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, we killed that, dude.
That about does it for our show. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. That was a 2-man show.
Yeah, we did pretty good. Hopefully everything recorded right. If you want one of these shirts, I'll have a link next week. Because I want to make sure I can do them right. Or just tweet me and I'll send you one.
All right, good show. Later, everyone. See you Thursday.
See you guys. Birds, I think if I end this, I might end the call with you. I don't know. So if I don't see you, bye.
All right.